And here we have Joanna Oakley back again and Mark James. So we're going to talk about processes and compliance. Off you go, guys.
Yeah, so one of the key requisites of legislation is if you're a business owner, so for me in the UK or for you in Australia, you've got data that you process, you have on your system, whether it's about your employees, about your customers. So in Europe, that makes me what's called a data controller. So I have a legal obligation to look after that information. Now, if I share that information, so if I use a third party to process the information for me, so let's say I use a company in Australia that's going to back up my data because there are good business reasons for me to do that. Under the old law, there was no real requirement for me to do much due diligence around my processor. But under the GDPR, there's a responsibility on me to make sure that if I'm giving information to a company in Australia, that they do look after it and they do everything they should do from a GDPR point of view. I have a legal obligation to make sure they do it. So the reality is, if I'm looking for data processes because I want to outsource certain functions, whether it's IT, HR, all those different things we do to help us run our business.
Or payroll.
Yeah, if I'm approached by a processor anywhere in the world that says, look, we've complied to the legislation, we've done everything we can do from a GDPR point of view, so we feel we're a compliant processor for you. There is opportunity for processors to pick up work they may not have picked up historically, because from a controller point of view, if I've got one data process that's not compliant, I'm not compliant. So to help me close my own loops, there are opportunities in selecting processes that are compliant, with all the other factors included as part of that. But there's this whole new piece outside of price, SLA, and speak to a reference site, all those things that we do typically. There's this whole new world of obligations. Okay, you back up my data, but what do you do with it? Now, who has access to it? Where do you back it up to? Those questions now need to be asked, which they weren't before.
And we're certainly seeing at the moment just a small flow that I think will become a stronger flow into the future of our clients who are, suppliers to organisations having clauses being added to their current contracts in which they agree that they're in compliance with the GDPR, and that is where, whether or not those organisations are based in the EU, once our clients are required, then contractually to say they're compliant with the GDPR, then, that's it. They have to be compliant with the GDPR. Yeah. So, I guess that's certainly something. And that's something that we saw at play with the Privacy Act reforms here in Australia as well. That is a way that played out here in Australia. So for organisations that may not have, previously been captured.
So we have a processes agreement in this kit, which is fantastic. So if anyone wants to take advantage of this opportunity and speak to either of you, because part of the kit is that they both get, whoever buys the kit gets time with both of you. So your legal firm, Joanna, yourself and your team, and also Mark and your team. So, it's fantastic for small business to have this experience. And go to someone, if they have questions around the kit.
Yeah, and we've seen the implications of getting this wrong, because there are processors that provide online services, so web-based services or news-based services that have actually had their business cut off at an EU level. So, so that's the risk of not doing something about it. The challenge is going to be understanding, okay, what do I have to do? How affected am I? What data do I have to think about that I've got? And actually, what is the implication? So for most people to work with, it's, as you said, you can apply common sense to a degree, because not everybody has common sense. I know it's supposed to be common, but it's not as common as it should be in my experience.
Well, that's where you guys come into it, so that you can tailor make some
that's what the pack's for.
The people who buy the kits, and I think that's the most important thing. So thank you both today for your help, and if you want to buy the kit, click on the link below. If you want to come to the event on the 20th of June and know more about GDPR and how it affects you, click on the link below and get some more information.